Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a weight loss hypnosis session that deals with the issue of learned helplessness. And one of the things that can happen if someone attempts and perceives themselves to have failed in losing weight on several occasions is that it's possible to create the belief system that it's not possible. And some of the clues for looking at whether or not someone might have this learned helplessness is if they're always trying to find something new. So they're looking for a new diet, a new system, and what they're looking for isn't so much a new strategy. What they're looking for is hope. They are hoping that this new thing will work. And the reason is that there is a perception that because other things haven't worked, it's going to require something new. And that quite often is a false belief system. So this hypnosis session introduces bizarre and unlikely and extreme circumstances to create a different perception. And the perception is, if you absolutely had to stick to an effective strategy, could you do it? And for those people that have attempted and failed to lose weight, the instinct is to think that they couldn't. Can't stick to a diet, don't have the willpower, don't have the self-discipline, I keep sabotaging myself. What you're going to hear in this is an imaginary TV show. And every now and then you see movies. So if you think of like The Hunger Games, or if you think of an old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Running Man, you get these kind of dystopian movies that are kind of competitions where lives are at stake. And we're fascinated by these kind of things because it makes us think that if we absolutely had to kind of do something for our survival, could we? So in this imaginary TV show, there is this amazing prize, like a brand new car, the most desirable car that she wants. If she could just stick to something for a year, and not even perfectly for a year, just 350 days of the 365 days in a year. So 15 days where she doesn't have to follow a system, but could she stick to a system for almost a whole year if she could win a car? And most people would think they probably could. But then if you amplified the stakes even higher and you said, you win a car if you stick to it, but if you don't stick to it and you use more than 15 days where you don't follow this, this strategy, someone you love will die. Now that can create a real feeling of consequence. But if you think of motivation being a carrot and a stick, and you entertain the idea that if you had an amazing benefit to following, a simple system, and a horrible consequence if you didn't, and you wondered, could I do that? Most people would agree that they could. Now, that's an important step to get to a new belief system, that you don't need something new. You just need to get in that highly resourceful state where you're willing to do whatever it takes. And that tends to be the issue. So if you look at elite athletes, Olympians, sports people, they have a mentality that they will do whatever it takes. So typically these people tend to have very lean bodies and they tend to be very fit and very healthy. Not because they're trying to lose weight, but their eye is on the prize and that prize might be a gold medal or it might be winning a championship. It just happens that they're very healthy and they lose weight as a consequence of being highly active and pursuing a goal. The average person that struggles with their weight is not because they're not capable of losing weight. It's because they're in an unresourceful state and they don't believe that the strategy will actually work for them. So they're looking for reasons to fail, because the moment that someone fails, it gives them an excuse to go back to old behaviors. Whereas in this hypnosis, in this model, one day you can't fail. You'd have to fail for 15 days in a row to truly fail. And even then, the reality is if someone that you love died, if you failed over a year, you could fail one day, but the very next day you're going to be very determined and motivated to get back on track. Clearly it's a metaphor. No one's lives are at stake and there is no brand new fancy car to be won. But there's a twist in this hypnosis session, and that is that there are some things that are more valuable than a new car. If you are struggling with losing weight, if maybe you feel that you've tried everything and nothing works, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me one-on-one. Then everything is customized. The recordings can never be for you unless you were the actual client that I was working with. But they might be helpful because there might be similarities between you and the client that I was working with. So if you are interested in working with me directly, check out that link in the show notes, schedule the call, and we can have a chat. In the meantime, have a exploration of this hypnosis session to see if it's helpful for you. Maybe it gets you in a more of a focused, determined resource state where you start to think, well, yeah, if I had to, I could do. And that's a really good state to be in. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel like you're slipping into a wonderful feeling of relaxation. Allowing any feeling of tension around your neck and your shoulders and jaw to be released. That as you breathe in this wonderful feeling of resourcefulness, giving you feelings of confidence and relaxation. And as you breathe out, just get a sense that stress and tension is melting away and leaving your body in your outward breath. As your physical body relaxes, I want you to imagine that your imagination itself awakens. And perhaps in the past you've watched TV shows where contestants have to lose weight. And maybe they win a big prize if they lose more weight. But I want you to imagine you're looking into a TV screen and you're seeing yourself on a game show. A game show that seems like it's set in the future, perhaps. And I wonder what would happen if you saw a version of yourself in a bizarre, interesting weight loss game show where it's not about losing weight, but just following a way of eating most of the time. I want you to imagine seeing yourself on screen and the host of this game show says, there is a prize, a brand new electric blue 4x4 beautiful car that seems really desirable to you. And the way that you win this car is not by losing weight, but every day eating 2 meals within an 8-hour window. The first meal, nutritious and not have much carbs. And the second one, just as nutritious but can contain carbohydrates. That the objective every single day is to be overnourished and underfed. In those 2 meals, giving yourself lots of nutrition and nutrients, but not too many calories. And the host of this game show says that all you have to do is eat 2 meals a day for 350 days in a single year. And I want you to see that version of you. Make the evaluation that means that you could eat whatever you want on 15 days of that year and still win this beautiful, luxurious, expensive car. But I want you to imagine this game show host has a weird twist. And this is how you know that this isn't a real game show, because the host says that if more than 350 days of the year you eat 2 healthy meals in an 8-hour window, you win a car. But they say that if you don't, that if more than 15 days in a year you don't meet this requirement, not only do you not win the car, but someone that you love will die. And I want you to see that version of you on that screen. The excitement of winning the car has been slightly replaced by the trepidation that there is now a consequence. And I want you to imagine shifting perspective so you're no longer seeing yourself on that screen, but you feel like you are now the contestant in this TV show. They have that car right in front of you. There, perhaps on a stage that rotates so you can see it from every angle. It's a beautiful car. But equally, you're more aware that if you don't meet this criteria, someone you love will die. They don't say who or how, just that there is an extreme consequence to failing. And I want you to evaluate your emotions, but mainly evaluate your belief in your ability to do what's necessary to have something good happen and avoid something undesirable happening. That you know that you can eat within an 8-hour window. You know that you can eat 2 nutritious meals a day. But also having the flexibility of 15 days over the year to not have to abide by these rules. Maybe you would choose certain key holidays, certain key events where you don't have to follow these rules and still know that you can avoid something bad happen and have something amazing happen 1 year from now. I want you to get a deep conviction within yourself that this is possible, achievable, and that you have the resources to do this. And as you feel that you are activating these resources, a deep sense of conviction that this is doable for you, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to think what you do on that very first day. Perhaps you would wake up, and even if you were hungry, you might wait until it was lunchtime. Maybe you would plan your meal in advance, know what you're going to eat, making sure that you had the ingredients to have that meal in advance. I want you to accept that if there was so much at stake, even if you felt a desire to have a snack or an unhealthy breakfast, when you weighed up what there is to gain and what there is to lose, it would be the easiest thing in the world to just decide not to. And as you acknowledge that you have the ability to make choices, that if the stakes were high enough, you could change your habits, you could change what you do, even if someone offered you some food or a snack outside of your window. It would be easy for you to say no if the stakes were high enough. I want you to get a sense that after a week of doing this, you would get used to certain ways of eating. You would get this sense that is not so much of a challenge, that your body would get used to eating in the window so you wouldn't even feel hungry outside of that window. That a few meals in, you would figure out what are nutritious meals that are just absolutely delicious for you. That when you feel a desire to have carbohydrates, you just have it in that second meal of the day. That you get a sense that you have the ability to do this. It feels doable and achievable for you. And let's imagine you've been doing this for a few weeks. And then for some reason, you don't think and you eat just outside of that 8-hour window. Imagine the host of the game show announces to you that you've lost one of your 15 days. I want you to imagine that you might learn a lot from that moment. You wouldn't feel that you're a failure and then just go back to eating whatever you wanted the very next day, because you would know that that guarantees that something bad happens. Instead, you would treat it like a feedback loop. And the next day, you would be even more determined and excited to get back on track. And you can visualize your body as a fat-burning machine. But because you are overnourished and underfed, your body figures out how to use your stored fat as a source of energy during your fasting hours. But because this window of 8 hours is flexible, some days you might have breakfast and lunch, and some days you might have lunch and an evening meal, that it gives you the ability to choose when you eat and how you eat. But if there was so much at stake, maybe you would set some kind of timer to make sure that you didn't eat outside of that window. Imagine you're living this life and you feel a growing desire for nourishing ketogenic foods, low in carbs, particularly for that first meal of the day, giving your body nutrients but also energy. And maybe that second meal is also nutritious, but it also contains carbs, maybe the carbs you enjoy, but just not too many. That you can trust in your body's ability to adapt to this new routine quickly, finding comfort in the knowledge that it's helping you achieve not just the ability to lose weight, but the ability to have something amazing happen and to avoid something bad happen. Imagine a month goes by and you've lost weight, you're sleeping better, you're feeling more confident. And every night that you go to sleep hungry, you feel this wonderful feeling that you are training your body to burn fat. Believe that your body is an ally in this journey, responding positively to your commitment to improving your health and losing weight, but more importantly, finding a routine, a rhythm Imagine choosing nutrient-dense foods, avocados, salads, vegetables, foods that nourish your body but are full of fiber, full of water. Your goal is to be overnourished and underfed. Imagine 3 months have gone by. Maybe you've only used 1 or 2 of your 15 days, but you've learned from them, or maybe you've been strategic about what days you've used. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. You can learn from any setbacks, and what you lose in weight, you gain in confidence. Feel a sense of empowerment as you take control of your eating habits and make choices that align with this desirable future for you. You are motivated, capable, and committed. And you realize, after a few months, you've got used to this rhythm, that you would continue to do it even if there wasn't a car to win, because it feels so good. That you would continue to do this even if there was no threat of someone you love dying. As you trust that your body is becoming more efficient at burning fat, imagine after 6 months you see your reflection in the mirror, noticing how much weight you've lost, how much more confident you feel. Imagine the pride and satisfaction as you continue to make progress. You didn't have to be perfect, just consistent. And then imagine that it's been an entire year. Imagine that you've lost a considerable amount of weight. Maybe you're 2, 3, 4 sizes less than you were before. And imagine the game show host is now giving you a choice. You can keep this brand new car, but you would magically go back to your old habits, your old weight. Every bit of progress you've made over this year would return back to how it was before. And I want you to get a growing sense that the car is just a car, but your body, your health, your life is so much more valuable. And if you get a sense that, what if the real value of doing this is not to win something materialistic, but to change your life for the better? And what if the life that you save is your own life? Because imagine a future where nothing changes. Perhaps in the trajectory that you would have been on, you die maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years earlier. What if the benefit is giving yourself a new lease of life, and the life you save is your own? I want you to get a growing sense that this is as challenging as you want to make it. It can be a struggle, or it can be effortless. And I want you to feel that if the stakes were high enough, you would simply find a way, and that is your resource state. That the first few days would be tricky, and then get easier and easier and easier until it's just as easy as brushing your teeth. And if your unconscious mind likes the idea of transforming your life in a way that you don't need to be perfect, just consistent, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Unlock all the resources to make this possible and set the intention that this 1-year game show starts now in this moment, and that tomorrow it begins. then you are unlocking all of the resources to win a valuable prize and avoid a horrible consequence. As you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, return to the present, no longer in the TV, back in your reality, feeling empowered, motivated, and feeling excited about taking your life in a wonderful new direction. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken a deep sense of self-belief, an inner knowledge that this is not just possible, but probable, perhaps even inevitable for you. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.